glad you're here. Welcome to Change the Shed. It is Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. See how I got the date right today? Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if you can't. And before I forget, I'll be back on September 9th, which is 2 weeks from now on a Wednesday. And my other announcement was, before I forget, the Damascus Fiber Arts School in Damascus, Oregon is a long-term, wonderful place. Was run by Audrey Moore for a long time, and I don't know all of the history, but some of you here know. And now they have rebranded it as a not-for-profit, and they're working on getting funding to make sure they can pay their rent because the school hasn't been open since March. So they have a lecture series of 10 lectures on Zoom. The first one was yesterday. It's every Tuesday and Thursday until September 25th or something like that. I posted about it a bunch on Facebook, and I'll mention it in my newsletter, but if you go to their website, you can find out the details. They are asking for donations because they're doing it as a fundraiser to keep their school open. But yesterday's lecture by Terry Olson was about wedge weave, and it was really great. So tomorrow, Kiki Dembrow, who's amazing, she's wonderful. Kiki's great, is talking about raised outline, which is a really cool Navajo technique that just looks really great. I've never really seen anybody doing it besides some older Navajo pieces and people from this school. So it's very, very cool to see. Anyway, I hope that you can check those out. And they're all about tapestry. So there's Molly Elkind will be there, Susan Iverson, Mary Lane. There's some really great ones coming up. So make sure you check it out. The lectures are free, but they do ask for a donation. And actually, they just set up PayPal. So they were asking for checks, but now they have a PayPal account. So you are able to send them a little bit of money and check into all of those talks. So welcome from all over. You all are here from all over the US and the UK and Europe. Kate says Northern California where the smoke is clearing. That's awesome, Kate. I think I saw that the weather's supposed to be a little better in California this week, and I really hope it helps. Our fires have also been super horrible and so smoky, so I'm hoping that cooler weather here will also help, at least with the smoke and maybe with the fire stuff. So, yes. Jean says the wedge weave lecture was recorded. So what Terry said yesterday about the Damascus lectures is that they will all be recorded and they will have links on their website. So that will take them a few days. They're figuring out how to do all of that video stuff, but they're doing a great job, and I'm sure they're going to get those videos up so you can watch them later also. The wedge weave one might be one you want to return to a few times because she actually talks about and shows how to weave wedge weave. So that's really cool. Wedge weave is a technique that's hard to find information about. So also Terry teaches. So when she's teaching again, you can go up to Damascus and take a class from her. So that would be, I think the school's in an old church or something. I've never seen it, but the pictures are adorable. So yes, they'll be available as recordings because they are at 10 a.m. Pacific, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you're working, it's a hard time. So yes, they'll be recorded. Okay, Greece. Welcome. Florida, welcome. Hot Southern California. God, it's been so hot, hasn't it? And I'm in Colorado. I have no means to complain, but it was almost 100 yesterday or the day before, and that's really hot for Colorado. I know you guys who live out where it's way over 100 are shaking your heads at me. Marilyn, I didn't say what the link for the lecture was, so good point. I will put it in the thing today, a direct link, but if you just go to Damascus Fiber Arts School, I think it's .org or something. Anyway, if you just Google that, if you Google the words Damascus with fiber art, you will find it. And it's on their homepage. The information is under a picture of Audrey Moore, so who's also an amazing and wonderful tapestry weaver, and she is retiring, so glasses up to Audrey for a well-deserved retirement. Okay, cool. It sounds like a bunch of the rest of you also saw the wedge weave lecture yesterday and that it was good. So cool. I hope you all are doing okay. Gosh golly, the world still feels tough some days. So I don't know if you are in the same boat I am, but it's like, one day it's like, oh, I feel okay, we're doing great. And then the next day it's like, whoa, what happened? I think that's probably normal, but if we can be kind to each other, it will certainly help. Yes. Barbara mentioned that Terry mentioned my book in the lecture, which was so sweet of her. So my book is coming out in October, and I can't wait to get that box of books on my porch. I can't wait to see it, like hold it in my hand. Welcome, Adriana from Brazil. And welcome, Leanne. New weavers are awesome. We want more new weavers. The more the better. So tell your friends about weaving. Today I am messing around with this piece. So this, let me just show you. You might have seen this, and I'm also, sorry about this, but I'm also going to do this just for a second. It helps people who have hearing impairments if they can see my face. So it's not because I really care about seeing myself on the screen. So this piece is about the fire. So there's a big fire in Colorado, the Cameron Peak fire that started not long after my last backpacking trip up in this exact area. So the first piece, which this image is of the bottom piece, which is down here. And it's just a tapestry diary piece. This is not like a serious bit of weaving. But then this, I wanted it to be read top down. So the top piece will be before from a picture that I took hiking in this spot in early August. And then this is the fire. And then I'm going to do a couple more re-envisioning what I know in my heart, or I hope in my heart, things will look like in the spring and then maybe in a few years when all of the beautiful wildflowers are amazing and the little baby aspen shoots come up and the burn area tries to regenerate. So hopefully it will be able to do that. The fire's super hot, so it's hard when it burns hot and heavy, but also fire's a weird thing, so you never know. So this piece I didn't show you last week because I was afraid I was going to cry, but I'm feeling better a week later. It was really fun because it was all about the color. So I was using Weaver's Bazaar 18.2 and just blending colors to make this red glow, which if you live in the West, you are probably familiar with seeing that red glow at like sunset of a wildfire on the horizon. Okay, so let me move this. So I'm working on, I hope you can sort of see that. Maybe if I do this. I have a little cartoon. I should have popped the picture up. I don't have the picture readily available, but this was a picture of a Krumholtz tree. If you've ever been up at Treeline, there's these trees that are super old. They've been up there for, this tree's hundreds and hundreds of years old probably, but tiny because there's so much wind and snow and harsh conditions that they just don't grow very much. So they're these wild shapes of trees that are amazing up at Treeline. And just a trail. So this is the same mountain as I had in the lower piece, but before the fire. This particular spot is not actually burning yet. I've been watching it on the map, and so we shall see whether this particular tree is still there after the snow falls. So I'm working on the roller coaster. Okay. Sorry, I was just scanning your comments. So I started this. So my intention for this, and again, Tapestry diary piece, I'm just screwing around. I'm working on a memory and working through my own skills about color and design and weaving little things. And I'm often playing with stuff. So in this piece, I'm going to play with how to make the branches of this tree. This scribble doesn't maybe give you a great idea of what the tree looked like, but really dark green, but it has to stand out against the background, and there will be sky. So I need to get branches in there and still have the background happen. So that's a value thing. I'm working on the tree in some of these colors. I'm not sure which for the branches, but I want it dark enough that it stands out against the background. And I wanted this to be sort of a gray violet, but I don't like what I have here. It's too light. I feel like the value is too light. So I'm going to try these two, which are a fair bit darker. And actually, before I pull that out even, because sometimes I change my mind and then I change it again, I'm just going to put this in and look at it. And see if it, so I have this image in my mind's eye of what I want here. And I have a feeling that this is going to be too dark. So having anticipated that, I had one other option. So here's the original. Here's a middle value. And here is this last one that I just tried. So just 3 different values of the same combination of violet. It's not really violet. It's a, this one is violet. This other one is, it's interesting colors. So this is a colorway from Weaver's Bazaar. And the one in, it's this one in the middle. And it's really actually very blue. It's called Periwinkle. Has a lot of blue in it. Versus this has a lot more red. So that's another consideration, is whether the color has a lot of, if it's more blue or more red in terms of the violet in here. And then I'm mixing it with a gray that's an actual gray. Oh yeah, I think maybe that middle value I like better. I think I might go with the middle one down here and then maybe some of the dark later. And I think the light has lost out. So let's try it. Okay, if I can just keep my brain sorted out here. This actually also, the tree is a mixture of this violet. Nope, it's even a darker violet. It's this one. And brown. Because in my mind, or in my observation, a lot of tree trunks are actually purple. Eva wants to see the drawing again. If I bring this piece back, I will show you the image. Actually, I'll probably write a blog post about it, and I'll put the picture of this. I actually flipped the image over. The tree, the actual tree went the other way, but I wanted it this way with the other shapes. So that's the little scribble. Okay. Okay, so the dark one, I'll put over there. Okay, so I have to take this out too. Sorry about that. So thrilling to watch people unweave. I wish I had my treadle set up on this loom. Whenever I'm unweaving, I wish I could switch the shed with my feet. I weave on a floor loom a lot, and one of the advantages is that my feet change the shed. To me, it's an advantage. It's not for everybody. Okay, so I put a eccentric outline in this lighter color, and I think I'm gonna gamble and leave it. I should have noticed which way that went in. This should work. I feel like I need a light lower down here. I'll play with that next time. I feel like you're getting a lot of shadow from above. And a lot of my hands. So I'm just filling in this shape. At another time I might have decided to put in more variety in here. Obviously in the image there's lots of details. I mixed a gray and a green here, and I actually did make the green darker as the hills went up, but decided to keep it simple instead of trying to weave in rocks and details and such. That's all I needed for myself for this piece. In a different, if my goal was something different, I might have. This is big enough I could have put more detail in there. This is 12 ends per inch. So there's room for a little more detail, but it was not my choice. Wow, now that I've woven more, that looks super purple. My intention was that it be more gray than that. But you know what? Let's just see what happens. Jean asked, is there a reason not to have the foot treadle on this loom? No. Actually, the reason is that my treadle is not currently working. Otherwise, I might have it on here, but for some reason, it's not working, and I can't figure out why. So that is the reason. Also, I got out of the habit. It hasn't been working for quite a few months now, and so I got out of the habit of using it. I do miss it. Oops. Changing the shed twice there. I'm going to fill in this low spot. Marilyn asked how many passes of the outline. It's a split weft outline, Marilyn, so it's only one pick. It's not even a full pass. It was one pick of, see if you can see this. Come on. One pick of the green and one, in this one pick, the bottom is green and the top is purple. Split weft outline. It's in the warp and weft class. If you have forgotten that it is there, that is what I'm doing there. I'm sure Marilyn hasn't forgotten that. Okay. I'm going to try a little experiment here. This is the darker color. My question is whether it's going to be too dark against these. If my phone wasn't being used as a camera, I would look at that in black and white and look at the value difference, but we'll just see what happens. Kathy, I'm not sure what you're asking. Why do you split the double end warp? Oh, why do I have a doubled edge? Why is this doubled? Is that the question? Oh, I messed that up because that should not be there because it messes my shedding up. Okay. That should work. So let me bring this out again. When I set that in, you might have noticed this. A savvy person would notice this. I was intending to do meet and separate with these two colors with some hatching, and then decided as I was weaving that I was going to put little dots of the, see if I can get even closer here, little dots of this darker color in instead of just going straight to hatching. And so when I do that, I'm alternating the two colors instead of using meet and separate. So basically one of the two colors is weaving across in this, my words are failing me. Basically I wove the dark here and then the light, so I'm going to float the dark behind, and then I want another dot of the dark right here. So I'm going to put that in. I have pulled forward a tail from somewhere. Ah! Okay. I'm clearly weaving from the front. I'm going to put this one through to here and then to the back. And so then this one will float behind where those were and go to the edge. And that will give me, can you see that? Yeah. Some little dots of, and on the way back, I just want one, I want this dark to cover this one so it's a solid line. So that, went that far. Then this one will have to float behind. I don't want to put this in the same shed as that dark one because it will, I call it a double shot. I don't know if it's a real word. It will have two wefts in the same shed and that will cause lice. I'm going to bring this all the way across. Now my fell line's kind of wonky here. So I'm just going to fill in this color a little bit. And then I'm thinking this one here. And at the same time, I'm thinking about those green leaves I want to go in there. So I've made myself a challenge with this. I'm trying not to make it too challenging. I find that if I make my tapestry diary pieces too challenging, I abandon them. Leave the challenging stuff for big pieces. Yeah, sometimes, sorry you guys, if I don't answer a question, it might be that I don't actually understand what you're asking, and that might be my brain. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're asking, Eva. Oh, congratulations, Alex. I remember you talking about your new studio. Alex has a new studio in her attic. I think Alex lives not far from me. Do you think those yellowish greens are pushing the more purple color perception? Yes, Carolyn, that's a great point. So I was saying when I started weaving this, it looked too purple to me. And so this is a really yellow green, which is the complement of the violet. And it could be that there's some simultaneous contrast happening there, making it look a lot more purple than I really wanted to. I have some feeling that I'm not going to like this at all, but you know what? I think I'm going to keep going. Oh, Kathy. Okay. No. I would never split. If I did it, it was on accident. I never split this edge warp. She's asking if I split this edge, if I had split this edge warp, and if I did, it was an accident. I don't see that I did that. It is possible, but definitely not intentional. Only if I had like a fringeless for salvage warp that had doubled warps and I was weaving it that way on purpose, that's the only time I would do that. Yeah, so Judy's asking about this thing I'm doing where I'm switching colors. That is definitely a demi-dwee sort of thing, although I actually completed the passes to make these little lines solid, but it's the same idea that I'm running two colors at once and switching them, and it's creating floats on the back. So if you want a clean back in a piece, you would not do that. You probably wouldn't be using demi-dwees at all because it's really hard not to have floats. So yeah. So this, let's see. I like to keep this little tree trunk is sort of an anchor here for me. So it's also quite wonky because it's so vertical, you know, it's not super even, and that is actually how the tree looks. So I thought it was I never considered weaving this sideways to make the tree smooth because it was more important to me that the hills be smooth, and the tree was wonky anyway. So if you can choose your subjects in things that are intentionally make things vertical that are intentionally steppy, you'll be good. Steppy is another word I probably made up. So I just want to keep this tree thing going as a anchor for things, and then let's try this green before we go. I chose the brighter green because this is the color of the foliage on these trees is really deep green, probably even deeper than this, but this is the darkest one I could find. And then I chose this more yellowy green just to give it a little bit more of a pop. Using 2 strands, I don't know, we'll see. Oh, I forgot I actually have one attached here on that side. Okay, let's put one on the other side. Audrey asked about shedding, and I did see your question, Audrey. It's a complicated, it's hard to answer when it's hard to see, but it's a fabulous question. On my long list of videos to make is one about specifically about how to fix shedding problems, because I mean I have one like that in the warp and weft class, but one where I'm actually weaving and fixing shedding problems as I go, because that seems to be one of the biggest things people struggle with. Let's just see how this looks. A lot of this, what I'm doing right now is pretty willy-nilly, which means I am going to have shedding problems. There are going to be things all the time that are in the wrong shed. And because I'm putting floats on the back, I can just move stuff around and fix it. On a big piece, I like my backs to be clean. And so in that case, I'm using other techniques, but I also have a lot more room on a big piece to fix stuff. So, oh, interesting. I don't think that's the same green I used on the other side. Hold on. It is the same green, but they look so different. That's wild. This is another simultaneous contrast color thing, because look here, I use that green right there. It blends right into that yellow green of the background, and when I put it here against the violet, it pops right out. Wild. Color is so wild. And fun. Okay, I'm just gonna, in my head, if I have a little shape in mind, I'm gonna put that in. And then I want to see whether I like that or if it needs some of a darker color in there to make it stand out, in which case I might put little bits of color like I did with the purple. Okay, so. Oh, Eva, thank you. And thank you, Ellen answered your question, I think. What's my ends per inch? Sorry, that makes sense now that I see what you wrote. I know what you're saying. Sorry about that. It is 12 ends per inch. Sorry about that. Sometimes my brain is not working. And thank you, Kate, for any help. I studied Spanish in high school and college, and I just need to go to South America for a few years to work on it. I'm going to add a new color here, and then I think by the time I see you all again, I will have finished this. But I will post about it on my blog. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I will also try putting another light down here that's maybe, I don't know, maybe you can see it. I'll look at the replay. I'm splicing this Weaver's Bazaar. I won't actually cut it off super close, but the splices I will cut off. I'm just going to leave them a little bit longer. This particular yarn is so slippery that it doesn't stay well in a splice, which if you've taken my classes, you know I love splicing. With fuzzy yarns, you can just cut them off and they stay put. But, okay, great. Let's try this right here. Is why I like weaving from the back, because all of these tails are facing me and I can find them. However, weaving from the back also means that little fiddly things like this are really hard. It's a trade-off. Oops, I went too far there. So, I want to see what this dark color looks like against the green. Yeah, that's going to be a value problem. Well, I may keep that darker color to a minimum so that the green pops out. Let's see. That could be barb. Yeah, the bits also seem to flatten the perspective. That could be. It could be that it would be. My idea was that it was a peak in the distance, and as I look at it, I think it might be a better design, and maybe I'll still do this, to have another hill that comes in here that is greener, and then have this back part be gray. You know how when you see a mountain and it's in the distance and it's a little hazy, it's kind of grayish, and these mountains are gray anyway. That was my idea. But anyway, that's my idea. So hopefully you all are doing well and hanging in there, and I try to remind myself every day that even though some days seem really crappy, there's a lot of good people in the world, and let's just take care of each other. How about that? Also keep weaving, because it does seem to help. And I'll finish this, I'll post about it, and y'all can see what came out of all of those decisions. Part of the thing, like I said before about the Tapestry diary, is that my goal is not to get too wrapped up in making it look perfect. So I might just finish it with this trajectory and move on to another thing. And the next one I will play with it some more. So, great. So I'll be back September 9, as I said. I won't be here next week, but I'll be here the Wednesday after. And I don't know what I'll be working on by then, but hopefully something else for this. I still can't get that right. Big loom right behind me. So I showed you the sample for that last week, so I'm still working on that and deciding about colors. So I have some new color ideas, and I'll show you the sample and whatever I have started on the loom. So thank you guys for showing up, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Oh, Marilyn. So far, so good. So Marilyn is one of the people who have come to my retreats at Pingree Park, which is CSU Mountain Campus. And the big Cameron Peak fire is endangering all of that area. I was reading this morning that it's only about a mile from at one point of Rocky Mountain National Park now. So soon I think they already have the State Forest State Park involved, and the Rocky Mountain National Park will also be involved in fighting this fire. Pingree Park so far is fine, Marilyn. The fire seems to be going further more west than Pingree Park is south of where the fire is. So my hope is that it rains like a mother this week and there's no lightning. Cross your fingers. I think they'll save the campus, but I don't know how well the rest of the park will fare because they can't fight this kind of fuel. So anyway, for those of you who've been up there, keep your fingers crossed. It's a beautiful place, and we hope we can go there next summer to study tapestry in the mountains. Thanks, Eva. Welcome from Spain. And it's really great to chat with you all. Thanks for coming and for all your questions and for your ideas about this little piece. And they're all great. I will see you again very soon. Bye, y'all.